Dark chocolate. To understand the vast reach of this global empire, we must first travel back to its true origin, dark chocolate. Long before the rise of industrial European factories, the cacao tree was first cultivated by the Olmec people in Mesoamerica around the year 1500 BC. For the ancient Mayans and Aztecs, cacao was far more than a simple dessert. It was considered a form of money. These precious cacao beans were so highly valued that they literally grew on trees, serving as a primary currency used to pay taxes or even to purchase slaves. In the modern era, strict laws dictate that for any tablet to be legally labeled as dark chocolate, it must contain at least 50% cocoa solids, though premium versions can reach as high as 99%. If you have ever wondered why high-quality modern dark chocolate melts so perfectly in your mouth instead of feeling like a gritty, sandy paste, you have the Belgians to thank. During the 19th century, they pioneered the conching process, a brutal mechanical technique that involves triturating and kneading the chocolate for hours or even several days until every microscopic particle is completely pulverized. As the percentage of cocoa increases, there is less physical room for sugar, which finally reveals the authentic flavors of the bean. Flavors that can range from tropical fruits and toasted nuts to the scent of damp earth, depending entirely on the specific country where the cacao was grown. Drinking chocolate. It is important to remember that for the majority of its history, chocolate did not exist as a solid bar. For thousands of years, it was strictly consumed as a beverage. Aztec emperors were known to drink their chocolate cold and frothy, serving it in a state that was terribly bitter and mixed with spicy chilies and corn flour. In its original form, it was regarded as a powerful drink for warriors. When Spanish conquistadors eventually brought these beans back to Europe in the 16th century, they quickly realized that the refined European palate could not tolerate such an extreme level of bitterness. To adapt it, they added massive quantities of sugar, began heating the liquid, and successfully transformed it into the ultimate luxury drug for aristocrats and royalty. This traditional European drinking chocolate is significantly different from the instant processed powders found in modern grocery stores. It is traditionally prepared by melting pure chocolate tablets directly into hot milk or water. In nations like France or Italy, the resulting hot chocolate is often so thick and intensely concentrated that you can almost eat it with a spoon. In Vienna, this caloric masterpiece was further elevated with massive mountains of whipped cream, establishing a tradition of pure luxury that continues to thrive today. Milk chocolate, the undisputed king of global sales, which currently dominates the aisles of every supermarket, was actually born from a specific Swiss experiment. For most of chocolate's history, trying to mix fresh milk with cacao was a technical disaster because chocolate does not naturally bond well with liquids. This changed in 1875 when a Swiss man named Daniel Peter had a revolutionary idea. He decided to use the condensed milk that his neighbor, Henri Nestle, had recently invented. By successfully removing the water content from the milk, they were able to fuse it perfectly with the cocoa mass. This breakthrough marked the birth of milk chocolate. The resulting product is famously creamy, sweet, and deeply addictive for the consumer. From a commercial standpoint, this type of chocolate only requires a cocoa content of between 10 and 30%. The remainder of the bar is comprised of pure milk powder and significant amounts of sugar. It is a product that has been scientifically designed to specifically trigger the reward centers located within your brain. White chocolate. While milk chocolate serves to dilute the cocoa, our next category removes the cocoa solids entirely. We now address the single greatest controversy in the world of pastry: white chocolate. Technically speaking, and much to the frustration of chocolate purists, white chocolate is not actually chocolate. It was originally invented by the Nestle Corporation during the 1930s as a clever industrial solution to avoid wasting the excess cocoa butter that was left over in their factories. The recipe for white chocolate does not contain a single gram of cocoa solids, which are the components responsible for the traditional brown color and deep flavor of real chocolate. Instead, it consists of a pure mixture of cocoa butter, milk, massive amounts of sugar, and vanilla extract. It is notably cloyingly sweet, very high in fat, and completely lacks the natural health benefits and antioxidants found in real cocoa. American chocolate. Across the Atlantic in the United States, chocolate transitioned from a handcrafted luxury into a massive industrial war machine. At the dawn of the 20th century, Milton Hershey sought a way to sell affordable chocolate to the masses. His primary obstacle was that fresh milk spoiled far too quickly for wide distribution. To solve this, Hershey developed a secret chemical process that intentionally altered the milk to ensure the chocolate could remain on store shelves for months without spoiling. However, this process has a distinct side effect. It generates butyric acid, which is the exact same chemical compound found in Parmesan cheese and, notably, in human vomit. For this reason, Europeans who taste a Hershey's bar for the first time often describe it as tasting like vomit. In contrast, for many Americans, that specific slight acidic tang is the defining flavor of their childhood. M&Ms. Regarding the theme of survival and utility, during the Second World War, the Mars Company developed the now famous M&Ms. They were designed specifically so that soldiers could carry chocolate rations in their pockets without the fear of them melting on the battlefield, a feat made possible by their ingenious hard candy shell, ruby chocolate. The process of corporate evolution has never stopped. In 2017, 80 years after the introduction of white chocolate, the Swiss giant Barry Callebaut announced the discovery of a fourth type, ruby chocolate. This chocolate features a vibrant, natural pink color, a berry-like flavor profile, and a light acidity that makes the mouth water. The company maintains that they do not use artificial colorants or flavorings, asserting that the color comes from a specific type of ruby cocoa bean that undergoes a secret fermentation process. Nevertheless, many industry experts remain skeptical, suspecting that it is likely a regular cocoa bean that has been washed with specific acids to preserve its pink hue before it can turn brown. Regardless of its true origin, it represents the latest significant marketing triumph in modern confectionery. West African cacao. We must leave the darkest aspect of this global empire for the very end. While a consumer might pay only a couple of dollars for a chocolate bar at a local store, the true human cost is paid in West Africa. Nations such as the Ivory Coast and Ghana are responsible for producing nearly 70% of all the cacao on the entire planet. However, the price paid at the source is so extremely low that the farmers often live in conditions of extreme poverty, and the industry remains terrifyingly dependent on child labor. It is currently estimated that over 1 million children are working on cacao plantations under dangerous conditions, often using machetes and carrying heavy sacks that weigh more than the children themselves. While certifications like Fair Trade exist to try and guarantee a living wage, they are frequently seen as just a tiny drop in a massive corporate ocean. Beneath every sweet and shiny wrapper lies one of the most exploitative supply chains currently operating in the modern world.